Hey everyone, so we're going to start with the remainder theorem. So remainder theorem says if a polynomial p of x is divided by x minus a, then the remainder is p of a. And so what it's really saying is if you have some polynomial and you divide it by a binomial. So in this case, let's say I used x plus 2. Then to find the remainder, you can take this plus 2, right? And we're going to change the sign. So instead of a plus 2, we're going to use negative 2. And I'm going to substitute the negative 2 into whatever the polynomial is, right? So I'll look for p of negative 2. And whatever I get as an answer or as a result when I substitute in, that is going to be my remainder. So here's an example to the side. What is the remainder when n to the third plus 7n squared plus 14n plus 3 is divided by n plus 2? And so in this case, p of x is our polynomial. So it would be p of n is our polynomial. So it's n to the third plus 7n squared plus 14n plus 3. And I'm going to substitute in not the positive 2, but I'm going to change that sign to a negative 2. And that goes back to when we talked about if that was set equal to 0 and we solved for n, our 0 or our root would be negative 2. So I'm going to substitute in negative 2 everywhere I have an n. And when you do that, you get p of negative 2 equals, let's see, we get negative 5. And so here, that just means that our remainder is negative 5. Okay? And so that is the remainder theorem. Next, we have the factor theorem. And so the factor theorem basically says when you find the remainder, if the remainder is 0, then what you divide it by is a factor. Okay, so in this case, if I'm looking to see, well, is x minus 6 a factor of this polynomial? Then what I'm going to do is once again take this minus 6 and I'm going to change it to a positive 6. And I'm going to substitute it in, right? And so in this case, p of x is x to the third minus 10x squared plus 25x minus 6. And so I'm going to find p of 6. And so everywhere I have an x, I'm going to put that 6. And so when I do that, my result of p of 6 is 0. And so 0 is my remainder. So we know that when your remainder is 0, that means that whatever you had was a factor. So that means x minus 6 is a factor. And that's really because p of 6 equals 0.